Captain John Parker stepped into the massive meeting room where the Galactic Council gathered. The ceiling stretched high above him, and alien voices filled the air. The doors closed behind him with a soft hiss. He took a deep breath and walked toward the center platform. "I am here to offer the USS Valiant for the defense mission," Parker said clearly. His voice echoed in the chamber. Sudden laughter erupted from multiple corners of the room. The Cathani ambassador, a tall creature with green scales, turned to his neighbor. His translator made his words clear for everyone. "Did the human just say they want to join our battle fleet?" Zirkath of the Vortani Empire stood up. His 6 eyes blinked slowly as he looked down at Parker. "Captain Parker, we appreciate your offer, but your ship is outdated. Our technology archives show it was built over a century ago." Parker remained steady on his feet. Behind him, Commander Lisa Hayes gripped her data pad tighter. She had expected this reaction. "The Valiant has been in Earth's Space Museum for 30 years, continued Zirkath. "It belongs with ancient artifacts, not in modern combat." The Corvan delegation started whispering. Their black skin glistened under the artificial lights. One of them spoke louder than intended. "Humans still use magnetic projectiles and chemical fuel. How primitive." Admiral Drex, the Corvan fleet commander, turned to face the assembled alien leaders. "I motion to assign the human ship to rearguard duty. It can record our victory for their historical records. At least then it will serve some purpose." More laughter followed. Parker noticed several aliens shaking their heads in what looked like pity. A Talari diplomat, whose species resembled giant moths, fluttered her wings. "Perhaps we can assign them to transport supplies. That would be safer for them." "The Scourge are coming," Parker said firmly. "Every ship counts in this fight." "Every capable ship," corrected Zirkath. "Your vessel might actually slow down our response time." Ambassador Krell of the Dalvak Confederacy leaned forward. His tentacles writhed as he spoke. "The Scourge use bioenergy weapons and quantum shielding. Your primitive railguns and torpedoes will be useless." Parker opened his mouth to respond, but Hayes touched his arm gently. She knew they needed patience. "The Alien Council would not see reason today. We accept whatever position the Council assigns us," Parker said. His voice was even and calm. "How noble," Zirkath replied mockingly. "The human accepts his place." The council chamber buzzed with approval. Several delegation heads nodded to each other. Parker could read their body language even across species. They had already decided. Earth's contribution was a joke to them. As the meeting continued, Parker studied the holographic display of the enemy threat. The Scourge were moving closer to their sector. Intelligence reports showed massive bioships capable of destroying planets. The Galactic Alliance needed every advantage they could get, but they refused to see the truth about the Valiant. After the formal session ended, small groups formed around the chamber. Parker overheard snippets of conversation as he waited for final orders. "I heard their engines still use fusion power," one alien said. "They probably cook their food with open flame too," another replied. "Their weapons are so basic, just metal. Projectiles fired by magnets." "Metal projectiles," laughed a third voice. "Next, they will tell us they use pointed sticks." Hayes stood quietly beside her captain. She had access to the real specifications of the Valiant. The aliens had no idea what Earth's engineers had built into that old frame. The restoration project had been classified top secret for a reason. "Captain," she whispered, "should we tell them about the modifications?" Parker shook his head slightly. "Let them learn during battle. Words won't convince them now." Finally, the formal assignment came through on Parker's datapad. The Valiant would join the rear guard formation, position 47 out of 48 ships. They would remain 20 light minutes behind the main battle line. "At least you can watch the battle from a safe distance," Drex said as he passed by. His tone carried no kindness. The Dalvak ambassador approached Parker before he could leave. "We mean no offense, Captain, but you must understand. The technology gap is simply too large. Your ship was designed for space travel, ours for space war. Thank you for the assignment, Ambassador. Parker replied politely. As Parker and Hayes left the chamber, they passed by the observation window. The assembled fleet filled the view. Sleek alien vessels of every design floated in formation. The Vortani battlecruisers gleamed with their crystal hulls. The Cathani destroyers bristled with plasma cannons. The Talari carriers launched fighters that looked like living insects. They all look so advanced, Hayes noted quietly. Appearances can deceive, Parker answered. The Valiant may look old, but she has surprises hidden within. They reached the hangar where their shuttle waited. As they boarded, Parker turned back for one last look at the council building. Captain, Hayes asked, what if they are right? What if we really are too primitive? Parker smiled for the first time that day. Hayes, humanity did not reach the stars by accepting limitations. We reached them by building solutions others thought impossible. The shuttle lifted off smoothly. Through the window, they could see more alien ships arriving for the gathering fleet. Each vessel represented technology that seemed light years ahead of Earth's. But Parker knew something they did not. The Valiant had been rebuilt with one purpose in mind. Not to match alien technology, but to defeat it. As they traveled back to their docked ship, Parker reviewed the battle plans on his datapad. The Scourge would arrive in 72 hours. The aliens had 3 days to prepare their advanced ships and strategies. The humans had 3 days to prove everything the Council thought they knew was wrong. Parker closed his eyes and pictured the Valiant as he had last seen her. Old armor plating covered new adaptive shielding. Ancient-looking weapons housed modern targeting systems. The reactor that aliens dismissed as primitive held enough power to tear open space itself. Let them laugh now, he thought. Tomorrow would bring understanding. On the bridge of the flagship, Admiral Drex reviewed the battle formation. He zoomed in on the rearguard position and chuckled. The human ship appeared as a tiny dot, 20 light minutes behind his main force. At least they will have a good view of our victory, he told his officers. Make sure their recording systems are active. Their primitive species will want to remember how real warriors fight. None of them noticed the power signatures coming from the Valiant's systems. None of them recognized the true nature of her weapons. None of them knew that Earth's outdated warship would change everything they thought they understood about space combat. The laughter would soon die. The Valiant would awaken, and the galaxy would learn to take humans seriously. The USS Valiant drifted silently among the assembled fleet. Her weathered hull looked ancient compared to the gleaming alien vessels around her. Inside the ship, the crew worked with focused determination. Chief Engineer Stephen Miller crawled through the maintenance tunnels, checking hidden systems. The corridors here were narrow, barely fitting a human body. His flashlight revealed panels marked with old Earth symbols. Harris, test firing sequence on Tube 3, he ordered through his radio. Copy that, Chief, came the reply. Tube 3 ready for test. Miller reached the weapons control room. Banks of computers lined the walls, their screens showing complex data streams. Nobody else in the fleet had seen these systems because they were designed to look primitive from outside scans. All quantum torpedo tubes reporting green, said Lieutenant Amy Foster, watching her console carefully. Power levels holding steady at 98%. Good, Miller nodded. Keep monitoring. We cannot afford any failures in combat, Ondai. The bridge, Captain Parker reviewed the final battle positions. The holographic display showed the galactic fleet arranged in attack formations. Red dots marked enemy approach vectors. Commander Hayes entered carrying fresh coffee. Fleet-wide. Communication coming through, sir. The main screen flickered. Admiral Drex appeared, his dark features serious. Behind him, other alien commanders attended the briefing. All vessels, this is your final preparation meeting. Drex began. The Scourge will reach our sector in 62 hours. Corvin Intelligence has confirmed their numbers. Parker watched as new data appeared on his screen. 18 Scourge bioships, each the size of a city. Thousands of smaller craft swarmed around them like insects. Each species will contribute according to their strengths, Drex continued. The Vortani will form the shield wall with their crystal vessels. Cathani destroyers will provide heavy fire support. Talari carriers will launch fighter swarms. Parker waited for mention of human assignments. When it came, the insult was clear. Rearguard vessels will maintain safe distance and provide communication. Relay, Drek stated flatly, including the human contribution. More snickers came through the audio feed. Parker could hear aliens commenting in the background. The humans can watch our energy shields in action, said a Vortani voice. Maybe they will upgrade from metal projectiles after this, laughed a Cathani. Parker muted the channel and turned to his crew. Opinions? They are underestimating the scourge, Hayes said immediately. The bioenergy attacks will tear through conventional shields. Agreed, Miller added via intercom. Their plasma weapons overheat after sustained fire. Our railguns have no such limitation. Sir, spoke up Ensign Dan Mitchell from Sensors, I've been studying scourge tactics. They use gravitational distortion to mask their approach. Their ships move without engines in the traditional sense. Parker nodded slowly. These were exactly the problems the Valiant had been secretly designed to counter. Continue preparations, he ordered. And remember, not a single word about our true capabilities. The next day brought mock combat drills. The fleet performed complex maneuvers, with each species showing off their technology. The Vortani created stunning light patterns with their crystal weapons. Cathani ships moved in perfect formation, their plasma cannons firing brilliant blue beams. Parker watched from his command chair as the Valiant remained at a safe distance. Their assigned position was embarrassing, but it served their purpose perfectly. Let the aliens continue to think Earth technology was primitive. Captain, Lieutenant Foster reported, we are receiving another transmission from the Dalvac Confederacy. On screen appeared Ambassador Krell, his tentacles waving gently. Captain Parker, I wanted to offer some advice. During the battle, remain as far from combat as your orders allow. The Scourge weapons are unlike anything you have faced. Thank you for the concern, Ambassador, Parker replied professionally. We lost 3 colonies to the Scourge last cycle, Krell continued. Their bioships absorb energy weapons and adapt quickly. Metal projectiles bounce off their hulls like raindrops. Parker glanced at Miller, who had entered the bridge. The engineer barely prevented a smile. If only the ambassador knew the truth about their projectiles. As Krell signed off, Parker called his senior staff together in the briefing room. The door sealed behind them, ensuring privacy. Status report on all systems, Parker commanded. Miller started first. Railgun charging capacitors at 103% efficiency. Emergency cooling systems tested and ready. We can fire continuously for 20 minutes without overheating. Gravitational manipulation drives operational, Foster added. We can accelerate at 15 Gs without stress on the crew. The inertial dampeners are functioning perfectly. Quantum torpedoes are stable in their containment fields, said Chief Weapons Officer Dan Chen. Each torpedo contains a micro-singularity that will disrupt bioneural networks on impact. Stealth systems? Parker asked. Active and passive stealth are ready, Hayes confirmed. We can mask our true power signatures until the critical moment. Parker studied his team. These were the men and women who had worked in secret for years to prepare the Valiant for this mission. Earth's government had invested enormous resources in this one ship, betting everything on a new approach to space warfare. The aliens think old means obsolete, Parker stated. They will learn that experience beats innovation when the fighting starts. Through the room's viewport, they could see alien vessels continuing their drills. The beautiful displays of plasma fire and energy shields impressed everyone who watched. News feeds from various species praised the technological marvels of the assembled fleet. But Parker knew something else. He had studied history extensively. Throughout Earth's past, advanced enemies had fallen to simpler, more reliable weapons. The principles of warfare were universal, even in space. Attention all. Hands, Parker announced shipwide. Final preparations begin now. Every system will be double-checked. Every crewman will know their backup assignment. We represent Earth in this battle. Over the next hours, the crew worked tirelessly. In the hydroponics bay, Dr. Emily Watson prepared medical supplies. In engineering, Miller's team calibrated targeting systems with microscopic precision. In the armory, Magnetic acceleration rings were polished to minimize friction. Parker made rounds throughout the ship, speaking with each department. He found engineer Rick Martinez fine-tuning the power distribution grid. Everything optimal. Sir, Martinez reported. The fusion reactor can output 5 times what the aliens estimate. Their sensors only detect about 20% of our true capacity. Excellent work, Parker acknowledged. In the kitchen, Chef Maria Rodriguez prepared the crew's last regular meal. Extra servings of everything, Captain, she said with a confident smile. Tomorrow we show them what Earth can do. As night cycle approached, Parker returned to his quarters for brief rest. Through his window, he counted the alien ships. 52, vessels of incredible power. Each one could probably destroy Earth's cities in minutes. But the USS Valiant had something they did not. She had been built not just for battle, but for victory against technologically superior enemies. Her design was Earth's answer to the galaxy's advanced warfare. Parker closed his eyes, remembering the day he learned the truth about the Valiant's restoration. Earth scientists had discovered something crucial. Advanced technology created predictable patterns of weakness. The aliens relied on their energy shields, plasma weapons, and quantum computers. The Valiant relied on physics itself. Tomorrow, the galaxy would witness a new kind of warfare. Tomorrow, the sleeping giant would wake. As Parker drifted off to sleep, one thought filled his mind. Let them laugh while they still can. The first warning came from a Talari scout ship. Its insect-like fighters returned from patrol with damaged wings and incomplete data. Multiple contacts detected at coordinates 797. The pilot reported urgently. Unknown energy signatures. The Scourge are here. Commander Drex immediately ordered battle stations. Throughout the fleet, energy weapons powered up and shields activated. The beautiful display of alien technology prepared for combat. On the Valiant, Captain Parker watched the same alerts flash across his screen. Maintain position, he ordered calmly. Let them think we are keeping our distance out of fear. The Scourge arrived like a dark storm. Their bioships appeared through ripples in space itself, emerging from folded dimensions. Each vessel looked organic, with hulls that seemed to breathe and weapons that pulsed like living tissue. By the Ancient Ones, gasped Ambassador Zirkath on the main communication channel. They are bigger than our intelligence reported. Parker studied the enemy formation. 18 massive bioships arranged in a sphere pattern. Thousands of smaller craft darted between them like cells in blood. The Scourge moved without conventional engines, manipulating gravity itself. All vessels, engage at will, Drex commanded. Show them the power of our alliance. The battle began with spectacular failure. The Vortani crystal ships fired their energy beams first. Brilliant streams of light struck the Scourge vessels, but instead of damage, the bio-hulls absorbed the energy and grew brighter. Their shields are adapting, shouted a Vortani officer. Increase power by 40%. The Cathani moved next, their plasma cannons launching blue-white fire. The superheated gas struck the enemy ships, but again the biomaterial seemed to consume the attack. Warning, warning, called a Cathani commander. Our plasma cores are overheating, we need cooldown time. The Scourge attacked with terrifying efficiency. Bioenergy beams shot from their living hulls, each strike targeted. With perfect precision, the first alien casualty was a Talari carrier. The energy beam punched through its beautiful wing-shaped structure like it was paper. They were supposed to be vulnerable to our shields, cried Ambassador Krell. His Dalvac vessels tried to form a defensive barrier, but their quantum shields flickered under the bioenergy assault. Parker watched the one-sided battle unfold. From his rear position, he could see the whole battlefield. The alien fleet, despite its incredible technology, was being systematically dismantled. Sir, Ensign Mitchell reported from sensors, the Scourge are using gravitational eddies to redirect the plasma attacks. Their bioships are not just absorbing energy, they are using it to enhance their own weapons. Lieutenant Foster added urgently, the Corvin flagship just lost main power. Admiral Drex is calling for immediate assistance. On the communication channel, Panic filled the once confident voices. "This is the Stormcaller." Drex's voice crackled with static. "We have suffered critical damage. All ships fall back to defensive formation." But the Scourge had anticipated this tactic. Their smaller craft swarmed like predators, cutting off retreat paths. A Cathani destroyer exploded spectacularly as bioacid ate through its crystalline armor. "Captain," Hayes said grimly, "the Vortani battlecruiser Supremacy is reporting multiple hull breaches. They are requesting immediate evacuation support." Parker gripped his command chair. The time was near, but not yet. The aliens needed to understand just how helpless their advanced technology left them against this enemy. Another Scourge attack. Wave hit the center of the Alliance fleet. 3 bioenergy beams converged on a Dalvac frigate. The ship's quantum shields held for 5 seconds before collapsing. The frigate turned to molten metal, its crew lost instantly. "This is impossible," cried a Talari commander. "Our energy weapons should tear through organic matter." "Their hulls are absorbing everything," answered an engineer. "It is like fighting water with fire." The Scourge ships moved with fluid grace. They did not fire in patterns the Alliance could predict. Each shot was precise, calculated. Alien vessels that had dominated their sectors for centuries were being reduced to wreckage. "Captain Parker," Zirkath's voice broke through the chaos. "Your human ship. You must retreat immediately. Your primitive technology stands no chance." Parker looked at his crew. Each face showed determination. They had watched friends in the Alliance fleet die, yet they remained at their posts, waiting for the right moment. "Sir," Miller reported from engineering, "our weapons are fully charged. All systems at maximum efficiency. The gravitational drives are ready for combat acceleration," Foster confirmed. Parker studied the tactical display once more. The Scourge had destroyed 12 Alliance vessels and crippled 15 others. Their formation remained perfect. Their attacks, relentless. They were winning with ease. "All hands prepare for battle," Parker announced shipwide. "This is what Earth built us for." He opened a channel to the fleet. "Admiral Drex, this is Captain Parker. With your permission, the Valiant will engage the enemy." Static-filled laughter came through the channel. "Parker, you fool. Your museum piece will last seconds against them." "Nevertheless," Parker insisted calmly, "we request permission to engage." "Do as you wish," Drex responded between explosions. "At least die honorably." Parker closed the channel and turned to his bridge crew. "Well then, let us show them what humanity builds in secret." The USS Valiant's engines came alive with true power. Contrary to Alliance estimates, the ship did not use simple fusion drives. The gravitational manipulation system kicked in, bending space-time around the vessel. From the Alliance fleet's perspective, the old human ship seemed to blur and then accelerate at impossible speeds. The Valiant crossed 20 light minutes, in seconds moving faster than any vessel in the galaxy had ever achieved. "Contact in 5 seconds, Mitchell announced. The Scourge are turning to engage us." 3 bioships shifted their attention to this new target. Their organic hulls rippled as they prepared to fire. "Captain," Hayes said quietly, "shall we show them what real warfare looks like?" Parker smiled, a fierce expression that his crew had seen only once before during their secret training exercises in the Sol system. "Indeed. Weapons free, Mr. Miller. Let us teach them about kinetic energy." In the darkness of space, 100 hidden panels on the Valiant's hull slid open. The railguns extended, their design simple and brutal. Behind them, quantum torpedo tubes glowed with contained power. The Scourge bioenergy beams lanced out, toward the human ship. Instead of absorbing the attack, the Valiant's adaptive shields deflected the energy away, a technology the Alliance had never seen. "Targeting solution locked," Miller reported with satisfaction. "Firing all railguns." The Valiant spoke with Earth's voice. Projectiles launched at significant portions of light speed. Unlike energy weapons, these physical rounds carried momentum that could not be absorbed or redirected. The first salvo hit a bioship's hull. The effect was immediate and devastating. The tungsten slugs punched through the organic armor like hammers through eggs. The bioship convulsed, its living tissues shredding under kinetic impact. Direct hit, Mitchell shouted. That bioship is losing structural integrity. Parker watched the tactical display with satisfaction. Simple physics had succeeded where advanced technology had failed. The Emperor had no clothes, and the Valiant had just exposed the truth. Silence fell across the Allied communication channels. Every sensor in the fleet focused on the impossible sight before them. The USS Valiant had just punched through a Scourge bioship's hull with simple metal projectiles. Engineering, Parker called calmly over the chaos. How are our temperature levels? Railguns at 22% capacity, Captain, Miller responded. No overheating. We can maintain this rate of fire indefinitely. Another Scourge vessel turned to engage the human ship. Its massive form rippled with bioenergy as it targeted the Valiant. The organic weapons glowed with gathering power. Evasive. Maneuvers pattern Delta, Parker ordered. The Valiant seemed to dance through space. Her movements defied every prediction the Scourge biocomputers made. While alien ships moved in perfect mathematical patterns, the human vessel flew with creative unpredictability. 3 bioenergy beams converged on where the Valiant should have been. The space itself crackled with dark energy. But the old Earth ship had already moved, positioning herself for a counterattack. All tubes. Fire quantum torpedoes. 6 projectiles burst from the Valiant's hidden launchers. Unlike traditional torpedoes that relied on explosive power, these carried micro-quantum fields that disrupted bioneural networks on contact. The first torpedo struck the attacking Scourge ship. Immediately, sections of its hull went dark. The organic tissue stopped pulsing. The bioenergy weapons flickered and died. Direct hit on target 2, Mitchell shouted. Their neural systems are shutting down. The disabled Scourge vessel drifted helplessly. Its companions moved to protect it, but this created an opening in their perfect formation. Captain Parker. Admiral Drex's voice crackled through the communication system. How is your ship doing that? Our plasma cannons overheated in minutes. Parker focused on his tactical display. The battle map showed opportunities his crew could exploit. Our weapons use different principles than yours, Admiral. Physics doesn't overheat. A Vortani officer broke into the channel, his translator struggling with rapid speech. The human ship just disabled a Scourge vessel with 6 projectiles. Our crystal beams barely scratched their hulls. Zirkath's voice joined them, filled with disbelief. Those primitive weapons, they are cutting through bioarmor like it does not exist. The Valiant continued her assault. Railguns fired continuously, each slug carrying tremendous kinetic energy. The mathematical precision of Earth engineering proved deadly against organic adaptation. A group of smaller Scourge craft swarmed toward the human ship. Their acidic attacks had dissolved alien armor, but the Valiant's hull remained untouched. Lieutenant Foster, Parker instructed, deploy electromagnetic pulse defense. The human ship released waves of electromagnetic energy. The simple attack overwhelmed the Scourge's neural control systems. Smaller craft tumbled through space, their bioelectrical networks scrambled. Impossible, cried a Cathani commander. Their defense systems should not affect organic matter. Captain, Hayes reported, the Scourge are attempting to adapt. They are changing their attack patterns. Parker nodded. Just as the Scourge learn, so do we. Helm, position us between the damaged Allied vessels and the enemy. We will demonstrate proper defensive tactics. The Valiant moved with purpose. Her weapons created a barrier of kinetic fire around the crippled alien ships. Every Scourge attack attempting to reach the wounded vessels met with precise railgun fire. Ambassador Krell watched from his damaged frigate. His tentacles curled in amazement as metal projectiles stopped bioenergy beams through sheer kinetic impact. The human ship is using itself as a shield, he reported to his diplomatic channels. Their technology may be old, but their tactics are brilliant. The battle shifted dramatically. The Scourge, accustomed to overwhelming energy weapons with their adaptive biotissue, found themselves vulnerable to simple physical force. Each railgun impact created massive damage that could not be absorbed or redirected. Target the largest bioship, Parker commanded. Full spread of quantum torpedoes. 12 quantum warheads streaked toward the Scourge flagship. The enormous vessel tried to redirect them using gravitational fields, but the torpedoes flew too fast with too much mass. They impacted in sequence along the bioship's spine. Massive sections of the flagship lost power. Its living hull convulsed as neural feedback loops overloaded. The other Scourge vessels hesitated for the first time since the battle began. They are confused, Mitchell observed from sensors. The quantum disruption is interfering with their hive communication. Parker saw the opportunity immediately. Send our tactical data to the Allied fleet. Show them how to fight these creatures. Within minutes, Earth's combat analysis reached every Allied ship. The data revealed Scourge weaknesses that advanced sensors had missed, points where bioarmor was thinnest, neural network junctions vulnerable to kinetic strikes, patterns in their gravity manipulation. A Talari commander spoke excitedly over the channel. Their bioweapons have predictable charging sequences. If we coordinate our fire... Wait for the 60-second interval, Parker advised. They're large. Weapons cannot fire rapidly. Use this time to attack. The Allied fleet, though battered, began to reorganize. They started using the Valiant's tactics as a reference point. Rather than relying solely on their advanced energy weapons, they began coordinated strikes during Scourge weapon cooldown periods. A Cathani destroyer successfully disabled a medium-sized bioship using plasma saturation fire at close range. The aliens' advanced sensors, guided by the Valiant's analysis, found weak points in the organic hulls. "Working together," exclaimed the Cathani captain. The old ways combined with new understanding. The Scourge formation began to deteriorate. Their perfect sphere pattern, designed to optimize bioenergy attacks, left them exposed to kinetic weapons. 3 more bioships suffered critical damage under the Valiant's relentless assault. "Captain," Hayes noted with satisfaction, "the enemy is withdrawing their damaged vessels. They have never faced an opponent who fights like this." Parker studied the battlefield. 16 Scourge ships had taken damage. 5 were completely disabled. The Alliance had lost 9 vessels with 14 heavily damaged, but the tide had turned. "Attention all Allied ships," Parker announced. "The Scourge will attempt to retreat. Do not let them escape with full strength. Continue coordinated fire." From his crippled flagship, Admiral Drex watched the human ship coordinate the battle. His pride as a military commander warred with the humbling reality before him. "All Corvin ships, support the human vessel's tactical plan," he ordered reluctantly. "It seems they understand warfare better than we admitted." The Valiant continued to demonstrate advanced tactics hidden behind primitive appearances. Her crew executed complex maneuvers that pushed the ship to its design limits. But unlike the overly complex alien vessels, every system on the human ship was built for reliability under stress. As the battle progressed, more Alliance ships adapted to the human fighting methods. The combination of alien precision and human adaptability created unexpected results. Vortani crystal shields redirected quantum torpedo impacts. Cathani plasma weapons focused on neural junction points the Valiant had identified. "Captain," Miller reported, "our weapons are performing at 108% efficiency. The cooling systems are actually improving with use." "How is that possible?" Foster asked, amazed. "The alien weapons all degrade in combat." "Because," Parker explained, "we built for war, not for peace. Every human system is designed to perform better under pressure." Through the communication channels, the tone of alien voices had changed dramatically. Respect replaced mockery. Curiosity replaced dismissal. The galaxy was witnessing a new paradigm in space warfare. Ambassador Zirkath, his vessel partially restored, spoke with humility. "Captain Parker, your ship has saved us from certain defeat. The Galactic Council owes humanity an apology." "Focus on the enemy, Ambassador," Parker responded professionally. "Apologies can wait until after victory." The Scourge Command, recognizing their advancing defeat, began retreat protocols. Their bioships coordinated in a desperate attempt to preserve their remaining forces. But the USS Valiant, that old museum piece, was not finished with them yet. The retreating Scourge faced one final obstacle: the USS Valiant positioned directly in their escape path. Captain Parker had anticipated their withdrawal route perfectly. "All weapons, concentrate fire on the formation center," Parker commanded. His voice remained steady after hours of battle. The railguns sang their metal song one last time. Tungsten slugs carved through space at astronomical speeds. The lead Scourge bioship trying to shield its damaged companions took the full impact. Its massive hull shuddered. Organic armor plates tore apart under kinetic assault. The flagship, pride of the Scourge invasion force, began breaking into pieces. Secondary explosions rippled across its dying form. "Target eliminated," Mitchell reported. "The enemy flagship is destroyed." The remaining Scourge vessels hesitated. For a moment, the space between stars grew quiet. Then, in sudden desperation, they activated emergency gravitational jumps and vanished from the battlefield. Across the Allied fleet, cheers erupted on every channel. Alien voices mixed with the sounds of victory celebrations. "The human ship did it," shouted a Talari pilot. "They forced the Scourge to retreat." Admiral Drex, his flagship smoking but intact, opened a private channel to the Valiant. "Captain Parker, my debt to you is beyond measure. You have saved not just this fleet, but potentially all Alliance space." Parker surveyed the battlefield through his viewport. Debris from destroyed ships floated among the stars. Damaged Alliance vessels limped into formation. The cost had been high. 13 Allied ships destroyed, 25 severely damaged. But the Scourge had lost 9 bioships completely and 11 more heavily damaged. For the first time in their recorded history, they had been forced to retreat. "All ships, stand down from battle stations," the Valiant broadcast. "Medical crews prepare for rescue operations." The cleanup began. Ships moved between the floating wreckage, searching for survivors. The Valiant's simple but efficient medical bay treated alien casualties alongside human ones. Ambassador Krell arrived personally aboard the Valiant. His tentacles trembled with emotion as he met Parker in the docking bay. "Captain, the Dalvac, Confederacy wishes to formally request alliance with Earth," he said, his translator catching the tremor in his voice. "We have misjudged your people terribly." Similar delegations followed throughout the day. The Vortani Empire offered technology exchanges. The Cathani Dominion pledged military cooperation. Species that had once viewed humanity as primitives now requested diplomatic tables. In the Galactic Council chamber, emergency session began. Captain Parker stood before the assembled leaders once more. This time, no laughter greeted him. "The USS Valiant represents Earth's philosophy of warfare," Parker explained carefully. "We build systems that work under pressure. We adapt to unexpected challenges. We value reliability over complexity." Zirkath, his 6 eyes showing newfound respect, spoke for many. "We called you primitive. We were blind to your sophistication." Parker smiled slightly. "Ambassador, every species has its own wisdom. We learned much from watching your beautiful ships and amazing technology. Perhaps the future belongs to cooperation, not competition." The Council voted unanimously. Earth received full membership status among the major galactic powers. More importantly, military contracts flooded Earth's shipyards within weeks. The Valiant returned to Sol System as a hero. Parades welcomed her crew on every human colony. But for Parker and his team, their achievement was measured in quiet ways. In the respect of former doubters, in the lives saved, in the new perspective on human potential. Months later, at the military shipyards orbiting Mars, construction began on the USS Humanity's Resolve, the first of a new class of warships. These vessels would combine Earth's reliable systems with alien innovations, creating something truly powerful. In his office, Parker kept a holographic message from Admiral Drex. It had arrived after the battle, containing simple words that meant, "More than any medal. To the captain who taught an old warrior new respect, thank you for the lesson. May our species never again stand as strangers or enemies." The galaxy had learned that old didn't mean obsolete, that simple didn't mean primitive, and that humanity's true strength lay not in trying to copy others, but in perfecting their own path. The ancient warship had awakened, and the stars would never look at humans the same way again.